slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast, I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains at last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Gonna learn the consequence of being incompetent. Mental health is confidence, dreams and some modestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable.
Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking.
Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up.
502-534 is that nice little notification. Boom, the turnover is secured. Oklahoma's going to get one against the Michigan Wolverines. A big upset, man. Tough week for the anti-SEC crowd. Oh my goodness, like you would not believe. Like you would not believe. But again, guys, if you're watching us on YouTube, hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Turn on the bell notification so that you are notified every time we go live here on SEC Live with the Voice of College Football. If you're watching us on X, hit the repost button, hit the like button. Tell 10 SEC friends around you that, hey, we're live. We're taking your phone calls. You guys need to call into this daggum show. You know why? Because we got a lot to talk about tonight. And I don't care if you think I'm a crazy SOB. Guess what? You're here. You're watching me. I don't give a damn. We got a lot to break down. Because guess what? Guess what? Hey, it was a great day for the SEC. Little bit rough with Florida. We'll get to them in a little bit. But let's go ahead. Let's knock out the big games that we always have to discuss. First of all, let's talk about the upset of the entire SEC weekend in the SEC. Was Mississippi State in that dadgum Cowbell Arena in Davis Wade, knocking out the number 12 ranked Arizona State Sun Devils. And how fitting is it to win this game than with number 2 at the helm in Blake Shapen, a guy that, remember what happened last year, dealt with a knee injury, could not play in the second half nearly the entire damn season. He comes back, second game winner. Dude, somebody's got to get me to Davis Wade. Somebody please send me a ticket to freaking Stark Vegas so I can go be with that Mississippi State crowd tonight. Let's go through the game, ladies and gentlemen, because Mississippi State, dude, this was a freaking battle. A battle. Early on, guess what? Started off incredible for Mississippi State. You take that first possession. You're at the Mississippi State. You're at your own 25. Blake Shapen, Anthony Evans, Devon Booth. You get the running game started early. Big 15-yard run for a first down. You go to Anthony Evans again for a first down. You're at the Arizona State 48 in just 3 freaking plays. Then Blake Shapen, beautiful throw. Beautiful throw to Anthony Evans. Touchdown, 48 yards. Mississippi State's up 7-0. I'm thinking at this point, all right, I knew it was going to be somewhat close. We knew that this was going to have a little bit of a struggle in between. But I ultimately thought at the end, I thought that we were going to get a game that was going to be mostly dominated by the opposite side of the field, by Arizona State. Wasn't sure about what to expect. Boy, was I wrong. You force a punt. Guys, first of all, Coleman Hutzler. Where's my game ball? Coleman Hutzler, congratulations. Game ball. Hell of a job. I understand. 250 yards rushing. But when it mattered most, you stepped up in big time situations. And your offense made up for it. Stood up on the goal line. When you're knocking on the door. Arizona State, they've been running the football pretty well on you. They knock on the red zone, and you are set up a freaking brick wall. Don't allow them to score 6. You force them to get a field goal, and guess what happens the very next drive? We'll get to that later. But early on, you forced the issue up front. You got after Sam Leavitt early on. This was Arizona State's first 3 drives. 5 plays, 13 yards. 3 plays, 3 and out. 3 and out. 4 plays, negative 12 yards. Their first 3 freaking plays. Actually, their first 4 drives of the game went like this. Punt, punt, punt. I'm sorry. First 5 drives. Punt, 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 interception. And in those 5 plays, or in those 5 possessions, let me get out my calculator so I can do the math. You know how I am with numbers, man. You know I always need help. You had 13 yards, no yards, 5 yards, negative 12 yards. You're at 6. You had 26 yards of offense in the first 5 possessions. Arizona State could not do a freaking thing. You finally have a good drive. And by the way, what did Mississippi State do off of that? They took advantage of it. You go 13 plays, you get a field goal. after you get inside the 10-yard line, you lose 4 because your front 5 started to kind of piss down their leg in the second half offensive line-wise. But in 2 plays, first play, incomplete. Second play, Blake Shapen throws a beautiful ball to Brennan Thompson, 47 for a touchdown. Now, I do want to kind of talk about that play because in many aspects, even if you are a Mississippi State fan or if you're an Arizona State fan, I've got to be honest. Refs blew a call. Should have been called for for a chop block. I'm just being real with you guys. And you can disagree with me. You can think that I'm crazy for thinking that, but I hate to be real with you. Guys, you got extremely, extremely lucky that you did not basically blow the game away like that. That the officials missed that call. That was a clear block in the chop block. Your running back went below the knees. Very obvious. I don't know how the referees didn't catch that, but you get away with one. Would it hurt you in the end? Maybe. That might have been the difference, but who's to tell? We don't know. You get a touchdown off of it. So, the very next drive, you force an interception on 3rd and 18 after, by the way, I think the first couple of how many times did Mississippi State sack Sam Levitt? How many times did they sack Sam Levitt on the first 5 possessions? Because I think you at least had 2. Will Whitson for a loss of 14. And then you had another sack by Deontay Anderson. Arizona State turned it over twice in the first half. How Mississippi State couldn't go down the field and do anything with it is beyond me. I'll be honest with you. After you got up 17-0, you got complacent. I'll be real with you. That's gonna hurt you at the end of the day if you do not get that fixed. Then you go all the way to the 49, and let me just say this. Initially, you have a 3rd and 1 at the Arizona State 46, and then you have a false start on Anthony Evans. You can't have that, guys. If you want to stick around in these big games and compete with the big boys, guys, you have got to fix these little stupid ass mistakes. They're going to kill you in the end. I mean, and you can't. I cannot for the life of me accept this. Now, I will say, Coleman Hutzler's defense got put in some pretty bad situations. But second half, what did Arizona State do? They ran the football. And early on, they got success. They did. Guys, they ended up running for over 250 yards on you. By the way, South Carolina just scored. Their offense is finally clicking into gear. It's 24-3 right now over South Carolina State. I'll be live following that game. Looks like Oscar Attaway went into the end zone this time. So Oscar Attaway is going to be your feature back at this point forward. But you finally get some things going. These were the next couple. By the way, these were the drives after Mississippi State went up 17-0, excuse me. Punt, turnover on downs, punt, touchdown, kneel down. Did you play great? No. Did you do enough to win? Yes. By the way, guys, it was 10:32 when they turned it over on downs. Or really when they punted it. And by the way, Arizona State, I'll give them this. Hell of a drive. Hell of a drive. Let me post the number in the freaking chat so that I don't have to put that thing up there. Anyways. This is what you would have. Kanye Udo, run for 11. Kanye Udo, run for 12. Kanye Udo, run for 12. Raleek Brown, run for 9. Raleek Brown, run for 6. Kanye Udo, run for 12. Kanye Udo, run for 1. Kanye Udo, run for 2. Raleek Brown, run for 6. Raleek Brown, run for 2. You'd have a false start. They've had a 3rd and 7, which by the way, on this drive, they converted a 4th and 1. They converted a 3rd and 7. But they didn't get 6. So you got to give you got to tip your hat to that Mississippi State defense. They would have one throw this entire dang half, or this entire drive. Sam Levitt throw to Jordan Tyson, first down. That was on that little out route. Or no, they were in man coverage across the board. And they got it to him. Raleek Brown, run for 7. Raleek Brown to the 3 for a first down. Kanye Udo. Or no, Raleek Brown went up the middle, 26 to the 3 for a first down. It's 1st and goal at the 3. Then you get to the 1. And you run back-to-back draws. And Mississippi State's defense puts up a brick wall. And really stepped up. You get the field goal, but now you gave Mississippi State time. Blake Shapen complete to Devon Booth for 9 yards. Blake Shapen, Anthony Evans for 9. Blake Shapen run for 1. Blake Shapen, an incomplete pass that should have been caught. Here's what won you the game. You run was it a mesh? It looked like a split route, to be honest with you. They call that the banana split. So you'd have one receiver that run an in and go route, and you'd have the other receiver, which was an X and your Y, that's your X and your wide receiver. Y would go straight up the field, run a little loop, and then shoot to the sideline. The other would create a loop and run towards the middle of the field on a little, not necessarily a post, but more of a drug out, not really even a drug out, more of a drug out go route. Corner gets lost in coverage, which, by the way, Arizona State was playing prevent defense all the way up until that last play. I don't know what on earth. I'm as confused as ever why Brian Ward went from prevent to all of a sudden wanting to go play the middle of go line up one-on-one. It cost you in the end. Brennan Thompson, touchdown. Arizona State got the football, though. First play, Sam Levitt throws a horrible pass, intercepted by Hunter Washington, which is returned for 6 yards. Ball game. Blake Shapen, the statue's about to go up in Starkville. Your name has officially been etched into legendary names of Mississippi State history. You have your Wayne Madkins. You have your Nick Fitzgeralds. You have your Dak Prescotts. You have many other names that have come through Mississippi State. Congratulations. You've just etched your name into a solid history book. Mississippi State won 3 games last year. You just got Jeff Lebby a signature win. That hot seat kind of cooled down a little bit for Lebby. And we were talking at the beginning of the season, if last week when we did our pregame shows and when we were talking during our preview weeks, we said that if Southern Miss were to cover against Mississippi State, that Jeff Lebby's seat would get hot. And I got into a debate with our guy David Schultz from Locked On Sunbelt, which, by the way, we love the Locked On Sunbelt channel. And he said the same thing. He thought Lebby should be the worst head coach on my list. Well, he's not. So, power rankings come tomorrow. Going to be fun. Going to have a lot to break down and a lot of discussion when it comes to that, guys. I am really excited for that one because you and I are going to have quite a talk, quite a bit of a conversation when it comes to that. And to be real with you guys, I understand that you may be pissed off about that. I don't know, man. That's on you. Are we buying, by the way, are we buying the Texas A&M hype? Are we? That's my, because I'm not. Let's just be honest. Marcel Reed, I don't know what his status is going to be like. They said he should be good to go for Notre Dame. They said it. So he didn't return to the game during the third quarter, which I honestly wasn't surprised. We'll take a break real fast.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select a betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.
I do apologize, folks. I started to have a little nosebleed. That's what happens whenever you get so excited on this thing, man. Okay. First of all, one of the things that we saw over this weekend was Marcel Reed. And look, I'll give him this. I thought KC Concepcion, what you got in the portal, good. I thought you made good use of it. And I thought it was very smart that you got that. I thought it was worth it that you got somebody like that. But overall, I still can't come on here and get on the hype train of Marcel Reed. I just can't. I don't, and I won't. So that's my opinion. Whether you like it or not, that's on you. Let's talk about Michigan and Oklahoma, because Michigan from You know, from what I was looking at throughout the game, Oklahoma played ground and pound. So, which honestly, I was not surprised that this happened. And you know, many people are going to say, "Well, you expected Bryce Underwood to play better." Well, I mean, you got to understand too. This was Bryce Underwood's first real look at big boy football. You know, you're not playing New Mexico on a daily basis. You're going to have to play against against some dogs, against some really, really good teams. This is a really, really good team. And I think Oklahoma, with this win, they made a statement, which I knew they were going to. I expected this to be a thing. Did I think that Oklahoma played great most of the game? Yes. Do I think that there were areas of improvement? Yes. You turned it over twice. You could have won by more. Let's just be real. And I'm curious if my boy TJ Ronan is in the chat. I mean, I got to be real with you, man. Oklahoma probably should have won probably 38-13. I mean, if I'm being real, you know, you made mistakes. But the good news is that Michigan, young quarterback, man. Young quarterback. Apart from that Justice Haynes touchdown run that Michigan had, if you take that off the board, and if you take that off the board, Michigan had 213 yards of total offense. 213. Can't have that, man. You made plays. You fumbled. You had a muffed punt that would lead to a Michigan field goal. You would. I'm trying to find another one. You had a roughing the kicker that would lead to a missed field goal, but it led to Michigan also continuing to run the football down the field. Probably could have gotten the ball another time for another possession. I mean, I don't know, man. But I think overall, Oklahoma left a lot of points on the board. You got inside the 25, couldn't do anything from there. Jaron Canuck had a drop hop touchdown. Could have made it 28-13. Maybe it at least should have been 31-13 Oklahoma. This was all Oklahoma from start to finish. And I think the college football world needs to put Oklahoma on high notice. John Mateer, dare I say this, man, he could be on Heisman watch. First 3 games of the season, let me tell you what he's done. 81% completion percentage last week. He had a 61% completion percentage today. He's only been sacked twice. But in those 2 games, 392 plus 270 is, I think it's like 662. Plus 98. In the first 2 games, you got a 760 yards of total offense by yourself. And did Vicari get another punt return? No, I don't think so. No way. Did they? Anyways, I'll have to look at that later. Hey, are y'all watching the South Carolina State game? Let me know what y'all are doing in the chat. And y'all give me y'all's thoughts overall when it comes to today. Jaron Willis must have had a touchdown reception. No, never mind. That was a fumble return. Huh. What a pickup. Man, you get touchdowns any sort of way, man. Offensively, though, man, oh my gosh. South Carolina's ass water when it comes to their offensive line, man. It's pitiful. But yeah, I thought you did a very good job of becoming a balanced program. I thought you saw a lot of guys like Keontez Lewis, Jaron Kanak, and Deion Burks really start to emerge as your trio of receivers that are going to make plays consistently today. Consistently. You're going to make plays if you can continue to get them the football. And what Ben Arbuckle's offense is all about is spreading the football out and making sure you get the football down the field. Ultimately, that's what you're going to have. If you are a Oklahoma fan, guys, this is one where you're looking at this game and you are saying to yourselves, we're in a great position to do some things that we haven't done in quite some time. Just being honest. By the way, y'all check us out on YouTube, by the way. We got a couple of y'all on YouTube. So make sure y'all do us a favor, like, share, and subscribe if y'all are watching us on YouTube. Oklahoma, from start to finish, you dominated overall. John Mateer, I would definitely have him in the Heisman conversation. I think Oklahoma goes through these next 3 games. You get Temple on the road next week, a little early game. Auburn at home, though. I'm intrigued to see that one now. But I think in the secondary-wise, I think Oklahoma's going to find a way to spread the football out, to kind of dink and dunk their way around Auburn. They're going to look at that Baylor film in that secondary. They're going to find a way to kind of pick on those cornerbacks. And they're going to find ways to really get after their ass. Louisiana Tech, LSU, Garrett Nussmeier and company didn't have a good game. Just being honest with you. You had 85 yards rushing. Caden Durham couldn't do anything on the ground. Against a team which, let's just be real with each other, they weren't good. But you allowed for their defense to get 3 sacks on you when last week you only gave up 1 against a much better defensive line. Are you kidding me? Defensive line-wise, you're good. Or defensively, you're good. But, guys, you shot yourself in the foot a lot. When you're 9 of 16 on third down, you had 154 yards of offense that you gave up. But you throw the football away. You give Louisiana Tech somewhat decent field position. I think. Never mind. They threw a deep pass that ended up getting intercepted, so it didn't really matter. You have a missed field goal. You go down the field, you score. Oh my gosh, dude. You shot yourself in the foot so many damn times. That was such a freaking stupid game. You give up a touchdown all the freaking... You get on 3rd and 17. You gave up a touchdown, man. I mean, I thought LSU did not play to their best ability. They didn't. They played like ass water from start to finish. But better than what happened with Florida. Because let's just be honest, DJ Lagway didn't play good. You know, when you have a guy in Jaden Ball that is running for almost 5 yards a carry, and you have an offensive line with not 1, not 2, but 3 All-Americans, And on the last drive of the game, you have 2 throws to Vernell Brown. You have 1 run. Even on the 2 throws to Vernell Brown, I didn't like the play calls. Rob Sale, what the hell are we doing? Ultimately, it would cost you as Florida gets upset by Florida State. Or by South Florida, excuse me. South Florida came to play. They came to play. And you know what? You have no one else to really blame but yourself. Your offense was absolute cheeks. This is your first, by the way, this is the first 4 drives of the game. It was going to be a slow game from start to finish. USF has a 9-play, 31-yard drive, takes off 3:09 off the clock. Florida, 14, 81, 6-12. You get all the way into the freaking red zone and you don't do anything. Because offensive line-wise, made fundamental errors. 9 penalties that killed you. Penalties were a freaking disaster for Florida. Penalties get you freaking beat. USF goes down the field, 15 for 55 yards, 5:47 off the clock. And you get a Nico Gramatica field goal. 13 plays, 57 yards, 7:39 off the clock for Florida, ends off in a field goal. You know how many penalties that you had that same freaking drive? You would have initially, you would go right up the middle, touchdown. Actually, let me just count the penalties. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You had 2 touchdowns, by the way, on that drive. Why do I say 2 touchdowns? Because they both got taken off the board because you are a freaking undisciplined team. Yes. Yes. I've got 160 people that are listening to you right now.
Get your shit out the dryer.
Okay. I live at home. It's okay. I'm only 21 years old. Don't worry about me. Jacoby Jackson up the middle, touchdown. Guess what happens? You have a holding penalty. You get backed up to the 30-yard line. So you're backed up 1st and 20. But you have a personal foul on Levi Smiley for something stupid. The very next play, DJ Lagway to Tony Livingston, touchdown. Guess what happens? You have an offensive pass interference. So there's no play. You're backed up all the way back to the 5th, back to the 29. You have to settle for 3. Guys, penalties freaking killed you. It cost you a touchdown, and it cost you the freaking game. Touchdown, by the way, South Carolina. They're about to go up 38-35, 38-3. So, yeah, that game is pretty much about to be all said and done. About time that South Carolina's offense kind of did something. But it'd be 6-3. You'd exchange field goals. It's 9-6 going into the half. This is where USF started to take over the game. You force a punt, which they get at their own 14-yard line. So you're in a pretty good position defensively to force the issue. But what does Byron Brown and company do? First play, Medea Rubin, 15 yards, first down. Cartavius Norton, run for 2. Byron Brown, run for 3. Byron Brown, Keyshawn Singleton, who was a dog tonight, touchdown. 15-9. 13-9, excuse me. What happens the next play? 3 and out. You have a bad snap. They got to kick it out the end zone. South Florida's up 15-9. Finally, Florida looks like they're about to come back. They're about to win. They have their best drive of the game. You would force a punt, and Vernell Brown would return it to the 36. There's a penalty for a late hit on Rico Watson, who I think hit the punter or something. I don't know. But Jaden Ball would run for 7. Jaden Ball run for 4. Jaden Ball run for 5. And Eugene and Trey Wilson would take it in from 4 yards out at 16-15. Back-to-back punts, but USF, you get a missed field goal. So now it was a good kick, by the way, by Nico Gramatica. And it looks like Florida, all they got to do, they got to run out the freaking clock. They can't even do that. Because Rob Sale's play calling was absolute dog water. It was horrible, guys. Legitimately, I was beyond shocked. I'm watching this drive. I'm thinking to myself, Florida is going to be able to run out the clock. I thought, all right, well, this game is over. So much for an upset. And then I look at the last drive, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. You have the best offensive line in the SEC with Jake Slaughter, an All-American center. You have 2 All-SEC offensive linemen. What do? You don't run the football with arguably one of the best backs in the SEC. No, why would you do that? You know what you freaking do? You throw the freaking football. Good job, Rob Sale. Good job, Billy Napier. You know what South Florida did? It wasn't looking good initially. You're about to get to 3rd and 10, but there's a pass interference on Dijon Johnson. Get you to the 24. But Isaac Avalon goes right for nothing, and this is where you lost the freaking football game. This is where I think Florida is losing their locker room. Brennan Bett pulls a Jalen Carter and spits on an offensive lineman. He gets ejected. USF goes to the 39. There's no play. So he's done for the rest of that game, and he's out for the first half of LSU. Then Alvin Isaac goes for 29 yards, which Alvin Isaac coming out of the backfield was impressive. He had 4 receptions this game. He had 5 carries for 36 yards. He had 4 receptions for 49. You get all the way to the 32-yard line. Byron Brown to the 12 for 12 yards. Get yourself to inside the red zone. Alvin Isaac run for 6. Byron Brown run for 6. By the way, clock management for Florida was dog water. Really, really bad clock management. So now you force them to, by the way, Florida had all 3 of their timeouts. They could have taken all 3 of them after that first run to the 14. And by the way, your front 7 got pushed around. USF's a good team. I expect them to be a dark horse contender for the college football playoff. They've earned it. I don't think there's any other program in the P4 that has a better first 2 wins of the season than USF right now. You beat the crap out of Boise State last week, a then top 25 team, and then you beat the hell out of South Florida, like what Alex Golesh said. Guys, Alex Golesh is a really good coach. I will never, ever doubt Chris Lee of what he said again. We had our conversation during the week, and I thought DJ Lagway and this Florida offense was going to run flat over flat Florida. I didn't expect it to be like it was today. I did expect it to kind of be close initially with what South Florida had done before with P4 programs. I didn't expect this. Nico Gramatica, 20-yard field goal is good. South Florida pulls off the upset. Let's talk about Ole Miss and Kentucky. By the way, like we mentioned, the bottom line, freaking penalties killed you. You are an undisciplined program, and you are an undisciplined team. Billy Napier, guess what? Remember when everybody was talking about how your job got saved after the second half of last season? Well, your best bet is that you make a winner 8 or 9 games, which is looking very, very slim right now. Good luck going to Baton Rouge next weekend. I know LSU didn't look their best, but man, good luck. That's all I got to say. Let's go to Ole Miss, who survives Kentucky. And I did want to come on here and highlight what was an interesting box score, because Kentucky finished with 359 yards of offense. And I think going into the fourth quarter, I think they had just under 200 yards in the fourth, and then they turned it up a notch, which, by the way, Mark Stoops, ass-water decision-making. Kentucky started off good. This is your first 4 drives for Ole Miss. Punt, missed field goal when you get to the Kentucky 34 after getting a big play from Austin Simmons to Deuce Alexander. By the way, where was the receiving core for Ole Miss? Where was the consistency in the first half? You had none. Keywan Lacey, why weren't you force-feeding him the football? Why did it take you all the way to the second half to do so? Where's Caden Lee been, by the way? Harrison Wallace is going to be your feature receiver this year, so I think we've pretty much, after the first 2 games, here's the Penn State transfer. Trey Wallace, the third, I think, has pretty much solidified himself as QB1 or wide receiver 1 for the rest of the year. You'd have a missed field goal, and then Austin Simmons would have back-to-back interceptions, both of which led to 10 points. Ole Miss would get right back into it. They'd have a 3-and-out. Kentucky would go down the field. It'd be the Dante Dowdle show, man. It would be that show for quite a bit of the time. You go into the half, it's 17-13. Kentucky ties it up. Fourth quarter decision-making, by the way, killed Kentucky. Because you would get to the Ole Miss 15. You'd have a holding penalty on Henry Boyer that would back you up. You go for it on 4th and 9 with 7:50 to go instead of taking the points, knowing that your defense overall wasn't doing bad. They just forced a 3-and-out. They were doing really, really well. You don't do that. You go right back into the on the opposite side of the 30. And Cutter Boley gets sacked by Prince Will Umanmalan for a loss of 5. And I'll be honest, there was a missed call on, I think, the last drive looking for Hardley Gilmore. Guys, doesn't matter. Take the points. Don't do any of that garbage. And try and get a touchdown, because your offense was not moving the football down the field. But good thing about it, if you're a better, Kentucky covered. So Overall, man, what a wild day in college football. What a wild day around the SEC. What a wild day it is to be a college football fan if you are around us tonight. By the way, Hawaii Sam Houston kicking off at 11 p.m. tonight. So if you're crazy enough to even watch that game, that's on you, bro. That's all I got to say. Let me ask you guys a question. How sold are you after this week on you about certain SEC teams? Look, good bounce back win, by the way, for Alabama. I didn't expect 73 to get put on ULM. Ty Simpson went 17 of 17. What a way to respond. What a hell of a way to respond. And put up 583 yards of total offense. Not bad. Force 3 turnovers. Go 9 of 12 on third down. Not a bad little game. Not a bad game at all for Alabama. What a hell of a bounce back game after getting embarrassed last week. Missouri, Kansas, border war shootout. What a freaking game this was. And I thought early on in this football game that Missouri was going to go in, and they made mistakes early on. It's 21-6, and I'm thinking to myself, well, not looking good. And then Missouri started to score, and they started to put up points. You would get a 15-play, 75-yard drive. You'd have a Kevin Coleman on 3rd and 5. You would complete. You'd convert a 3rd and 9. You convert a 3rd and 3. You would convert a 4th and 2 to Kevin Coleman for a touchdown. And then the very next play, Jalen Daniels would get sacked, and then Kobe Barnes would get a safety. You tie it up at 21 after being down 21-6 at the half. This was your first 3 plays, by the way. First 3 drives for Kansas. Well, really, including the fumble return. Kansas, 7 plays, 62, touchdown. Then they get a fumble return touchdown. 6 plays, 53, touchdowns, 21-6. Here comes Missouri, though. Missouri goes back to take the lead, 28-24, 12 plays, 75 yards. This was a wild game, man. This is a really, really wild game. Jamal Roberts, what a run. 63 yards. That was the Jamal Roberts drive. 75 yards rushing. Where did Jamal Roberts come from? 13 carries, 143 yards. Ahmad Hardy, 25 for $112. Jamal Roberts and Ahmad Hardy, man, I'm excited to see these two as a 1-2 punch combo. But I thought Kansas was going to be able to come into this game and not necessarily take it to Missouri, but defensively, I would have expected them to limit what they would have done. Obviously, that was not the case. That wasn't going to be the case at the end of the day. But overall, massive win for Missouri. Now you're 2-0 with South Carolina at home in 2 weeks. So we'll see what happens from that point on. Got a big week in this one. I will be back later on tonight for South Carolina State, the recap. We got a lot to talk about, man. And so I would suggest that you guys tune in for that one. Thank you guys so much for tuning on in once again to SEC Final Whistle Live here at the Voice of College Football. Hit the like, share, and subscribe button. Turn on that bell notification. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you very soon. Y'all have a great rest of the night.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click Join, and then select a betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.